it's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we'll be looking at this scene from the trailer for Season 10 where Michonne is holding Lucille, pointing it at someone and swinging it towards them, seemingly smashing their heads in like Negan in Season 6, Episode 16 and Season 7, Episode 1. So of course, this scene was actually in the Season 10 trailer, but we haven't seen it yet, and it's most likely going to be a scene from Michonne's final episode, which is Season 10, Episode 13. Now, when this was first released, I was unsure how real it was, and by real, I mean whether it was a real scene or a dream sequence or a hallucination. The Walking Dead is notorious for hyping things up in trailers by having dream sequences or by having them be hallucinations or scenes that look like they're a big deal but end up being nothing major. They did that with Rick waking up as an old man in Season 8, Michonne and Ezekiel kissing in Season 10, a whisper seemingly attacking Rosita's baby in Season 10 as well. So we've seen a lot of those instances, so it's not out of the blue to think that it will happen again. And this scene with Michonne dressed up in a Negan cosplay outfit and holding Lucille and smashing someone is also a dream sequence or hallucination. However, with that said, they have shown Michonne in multiple scenes in other teasers and trailers wearing the same exact Negan outfit. Once where she was like laying down next to like some sort of a sleeping bag or something, and then she takes out her gun and shoots at someone. That's one instance. There was another time where she was actually swinging her sword, not Lucille but her sword, but she was in the woods, and there seemed to be other maybe walkers or maybe potentially other survivors trying to kill her. So that makes it highly likely that this is the real deal. So I see one of three things actually happening. Either she does resemble Negan at some point in her final episode, but the Michonne Lucille scene ends up being like a dream sequence, or it could be that all of it is a dream sequence, which is less likely. Like, why would you go through the trouble of putting all that together if it's all a dream sequence? You know what I mean? The last possibility is that none of it is a dream sequence and all of it is real, which I think at this point is the highly likely outcome. But in terms of who Michonne is interacting with in that scene is what I'm most interested and intrigued to find out. There are really only three people who it could be. The first one is Negan. That's a given because of course she has Lucille, she's dressed as Negan, so it's pretty obvious. It could somehow circle back to the Negan eeny meeny miny mo clearing scene that we saw in 616 and 701. And it could even somehow lead to Michonne giving Negan back the authentic Lucille. She somehow gets Lucille or goes back to get Lucille. But honestly, looking at the story and the timeline of it, it doesn't really make sense for this to be Negan and Michonne. Like, Michonne is not in the story when it comes to the Whispers, so does she come back and stumble upon Negan at some point? That's a little bit of a stretch, timeline-wise. Not story-wise, but timeline-wise. So that makes it a little unlikely for this to be the case. The next person who it could be, which is a bit out of the blue as well, and doesn't really do much for the story, is Virgil. Like, they could have it so that Virgil lied. He was some sort of a person who trades with CRM, the group that took Rick, much like Jadis was. And you could have it so that Michonne finds out about this and she somehow gets Lucille or goes back to get Lucille and smashes Virgil's head in. Like I said, this does nothing for the story and it doesn't really fit. Like, the first part of it may work with the Virgil being someone that knows about CRM, but connecting that to this scene with Lucille and Michonne is a little bit of a stretch. Like, if it's Negan, yeah, sure, it kind of makes sense and it fits to an extent. But Virgil, that does nothing except give us a WTF moment. Nothing more than that. The last person that it could be is Jadis herself. There's been speculation that Virgil is communicating with CRM or is part of CRM or something along those lines, and he may be trading or trying to trade in Michonne, which, like I said, is possible. Then when CRM comes to get Michonne, Jadis is with them. Michonne ends up killing them all, and then she Lucille's Jadis, because she thinks that Jadis somehow knows about Rick or did something to hurt Rick. Now, this is also something that's out of the blue, and it's a little bit of a stretch, actually more than a bit of a stretch, but at the end of the day, I don't think it does anything for the story, and it doesn't really flow with where the story is going right now. So at the end of the day, who do I think Michonne is Lucilleing? I got no idea. Like, all I know is that if it's any of the scenarios I talked about, I would be disappointed. Even if it's Negan. They would have to explain it right, and the timeline would have to work for it to make sense. But if it's someone else, I'm just not able to figure it out in my head and kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together at this point. But if any of you can think of someone who it could be and how it would work, let me know in the comment section below. Of course, no spoilers, just speculations. I don't even want spoilers presented as speculation either. Also, if you still think that it's a dream sequence, let me know. And also, let me know how it's gonna work, like how it's gonna go, how you think it's gonna go. And let me know if you would be disappointed or not if it is in fact a dream sequence or a hallucination of some sort. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.